This week, I'm going to do a new video blog. Normally I've been doing written blogs, but I'm going to try a new video blog. And what I'm going to discuss this week is the President's budget, the quote Green Book, if you will, which is the Treasury's proposals for tax revenue, which of course all estate planning attorneys would be interested in because they impact estate planning. So there are 5 different things that I'm going to discuss quickly, so that you're not on too long on this podcast. For number 1, we have the exclusion would change under his proposal. So it would change to $3.5 million for estate and GST purposes, and only $1 million for gift tax purposes. This change wouldn't come about until 2018. So we have a few years to stew about it, like we don't have enough uncertainty anyway. So also in 2018, that change would be permanent. It wouldn't have a sunset provision, and there would be no inflation adjustment. The rate after the exclusion is used would be 45%. Okay, so that's something for us to think about as we're planning our clients' estates. Number 2 is that GRATs would be changed. Now, this is something that's been in the Green Book for years and years. So the GRAT reform would be similar to what has been proposed in the past. The term would have a minimum of 10 years and a maximum of a lifetime of the grantor plus 10 years. So that's pretty consistent to what has been proposed in the past. Second, the remainder would have to be greater than 0. Again, similar to what has been proposed in the past. So that's the second. The third proposal is to have GST exemption limited to 90 years. So that means if you die today and you allocate GST exemption to a trust, 90 years later, that evaporates essentially, and the GST exclusion ratio would go from 0 to 1 for that trust. So GST only 90 years is the third proposal. So the fourth proposal is that a sale to an intentionally defective grantor trust would include that property in the estate of the grantor of the trust. So last year in the Green Book, the proposal was that any intentionally defective grantor trust would be included in the estate of the grantor. So any grantor trust would be included in the estate of the grantor. So this year, it's a little bit different. Not all grantor trusts are included. Only if there is a sale of property from the grantor to the grantor trust are we going to include the property into the estate of the grantor. So it's a little bit different, but along the theme of last year's budget. And maybe they are tweaking it a little bit so that this may be a little bit more likely to pass than last year, where they said all grantor trusts are included. Finally, the fifth one is that retirement plans would be essentially capped. The proposal is a little bit complex. It says that there would be $205,000 annuity that you could have, a maximum amount of assets that would generate a $205,000 annual annuity. Well, that they estimate is around $3 million of assets. Once a taxpayer reached that limit, then they could not contribute anything more to their retirement plans and IRA. So that is a cap on the contributions, a cap on what the total value of the IRA and qualified plans could be. So we will see what happens with this budget. Of course, Congress would have to agree to see any of these changes come about. But here are 5 things that you should keep on the radar, and I look forward to our next video blog.